how long have you been police chief in Pendleton?
Going on 6 months now. 6 months.
And what made you decide to make the move to this small town, Pendleton?
The atmosphere, really is the upstate atmosphere. For years, I have traveled to the upstate, to Lake Kiwi, to the area, vacations with family, friends, and things like that. And I knew that I always wanted to come to a smaller town. From policing the smaller towns to all the way to a big city like Charlotte, the small town environment was just the cream of the crop for me. And I kind of wanted to finish my law enforcement career there, and this opportunity came up.
And how'd you get involved in law enforcement?
I was in school after getting off active duty in the Marine Corps, and 2 years off after getting off active duty, I decided, why not? I'll just become a police officer. It gives me something to do and keeps the adrenaline going.
Now, did you think when you were a kid one day you'd be a police chief?
No, absolutely. I'm probably lucky to still be in law enforcement.
Where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in Columbia and ended up moving to the Charlotte area when I was a teenager due to my father's employment.
And you were in law enforcement up there too, right?
I was. So I worked for the transit system, the Charlotte area transit system, and I oversaw the Office of Professional Standards, so internal affairs. I did all of our hiring and recruiting and things like that for the transit system for CATS.
It seems like quite a shift from Charlotte to Pendleton.
It is. It's quite a shift. You know, the calls for service, the volume, the citizen contacts you make every day, you go from thousands to, a couple dozen.
What's it like being a police chief in a small town? I mean, has there been any adjustments for you?
Well, you get to hear a lot of the complaints in person. A lot of the times people would complain about various issues and things like that, but they were via, a lot of the times electronically. So emails, voicemails, things like that. Now they just stop by your office and file their complaints, which isn't bad because it gives me the opportunity to engage with the people that have issues and things like that. It also gives me the opportunity to engage with people that have positive comments and what they would like to see here in the town from the police department and things. So that's been real positive to just put that name and face together.
What are the biggest challenges of policing in a small town?
The fact that everybody knows what the police department is doing at all times, I guess, would be the biggest challenge. They almost know before you do, which isn't bad because it gives that good sense of transparency. There's nowhere to go hide. We're not big enough where I can just say that, I'll get back to you. But the people here expect you to get back to you because they know exactly where you sit and they know exactly where you work, and it's not that difficult to get to you. So it's great to me.
And you came to Pendleton at a really pivotal time in the town's history because they just annexed and almost doubled the size of the town. How is that going to be a challenge for the police to suddenly have double the amount of area to cover?
It's going to be a little difficult with the growing pains up right now. The 187 corridor that the town is pushing towards and has annexed, and with all the new development coming in, essentially we've split the town in half. The Highway 76 will now break it into essentially two different divisions, so to speak. And I think that with the support that I've received from the mayor and council and city manager, we know the challenges going forward in the next couple of years, and they've already thought about it and planned for it. So I don't think that we're going to be behind at all in the curve, providing these new citizens and new residents off 187 the police coverage that they deserve.
What's your favorite thing about Pendleton, about this town?
The ability probably to walk to anywhere. I used to have to drive everywhere, and now I can walk wherever I want to, and I don't ever have to worry about, looking for parking or anything like that. And people, everybody's friendly here, and everybody knows you. And even in the 6 months I've been here, they might not remember my name, which is fine, but they still recognize the face and things like that. So I enjoy being able to walk, and so does my wife, just right to where we need to go. We don't have to go far for nothing anymore.
What else would you want people to know about you that haven't met you yet?
I like to think that I'm an open book. I like to, when people come in here and speak to me or speak to me on the road or for whatever, I like people to think that they can ask me anything, but be prepared to be challenged back. And what I mean by that is, if you have problems or things like that, I always ask citizens and people that have complaints or things about their solutions and what can we do to work together. So I enjoy doing that. But my door is always open and my phone's always available for people to call me or speak to me and, just come in for 20 minutes and tell me what they got going on and what we can do to help them.
And what are your goals? What's your strategic plan for the Pendleton Police Department looking ahead for the next 5 years maybe?
So in the next 5 years, one thing that I have tried or I'm trying to bring forward is training. So with the limited amount of officers that we have, the importance of having a well-rounded officer I have seen is very important. So whereas the big city of like Charlotte or Greenville or the city of Anderson or Anderson County has all these different divisions, we don't have all that stuff here. So what does the resident expect? Well, they still expect that. They still expect a detective. They still expect crime scene service. They still expect, speed enforcement and traffic units. Well, if I can send the officers that work here to all those schools, then they're going to have all that with just one officer. I don't need to worry about having different divisions and things like that. So, and if a resident calls in and there's an issue and we get a call for service, they're going to get a detective, they're going to get a crime scene investigator, they're going to get a traffic unit, all in one. So I've been working on that and bringing the police department kind of forefront in the technology-wise. I've seen some shortfalls and things like that with technology, and I'd like to get us where our cars and stuff are complete offices, and in the area of like body-worn cameras and taser upgrades, even though it's a good thing because it helps us with de-escalation. So now we're gonna be the one of the first agencies in the Anderson and Oconee region to have some of these upgrades and things like the bigger cities get, like the city of Greenville and things. So that's what I've been pushing at, and that's what I've talked to the mayor and council and the manager about, is just pushing upgrades and having well-rounded and well-versatile officers to support everything that we need here in town.
You see the force expanding in the next 5 to 10 years?
It will. It'll get expanded in the next probably 2 to 3 years, if not sooner. Yeah, but it will grow. We'll have more officers on the road, and hopefully everybody will be happy with the response time that we can give them.
One of the things people talk about Pendleton that know sort of the inside game is what a strong council and mayor and system y'all have here. Have you found it easy to work with the council and mayor?
They've been absolutely easy to work with. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Any reports that I've done or any questions they've had, they've always been pleased, and I've always been pleased with their responses back to me and been able to gauge things like that. So they've been a dream to work with.
If somebody lives in Pendleton would just like to know more about law enforcement or about what y'all are doing here, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you or the department?
They can email me. They can email any of the officers, and they can come here. They can conduct a ride-along if they would like. They would just need to fill out a waiver or something like that. They can call town hall, or they can just reach me. Email is probably the easiest because I'm in and out. Because being small, I'm myself and Corporal Moreno. We're always running the roads and things like that. So email is probably the easiest way, and that's available on the Town of Pendleton website underneath the police tab. So I think that's the easiest way.